What's the best heckle that's been thrown your way? Or most memorable?
There's too many, man. All right. We'll go around. We'll go around the... All right. When I was Black Room, best one I ever got, I was bombing at this place. Used to be called Mixed Nuts. It's now called the Comedy Union. And I was up there, and dude, when I tell you 5 minutes of straight silence, dry mouth, nothing, and it was the summertime when sound carries, right? And I'm just going, and it's nothing and nothing, and then just in the middle of one of my jokes, I'm meandering in this long setup for something else that's going to bomb. This big black lady in the back, just out loud to nobody, just sort of looked around, just went like, I ain't laughed yet. And the whole place exploded laughing. And I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know I had to address it. I kept trying to do my material, and then they were just laughing at me, trying to do my... It was fucking humiliating. And then, I don't know, there's one... I'll tell you the weirdest one I got. I've told this one before. One of the weirdest ones I got, I was at Dangerfield's doing the midnight show, and it was just one of those nights everybody was bombing. The place was packed, and nobody was laughing. I remember the guy in front of me, like, he was just bombing so bad, and he was on some show where he played a bartender, and he had gotten beaten up. It's like, oh, did you guys see that movie? He's trying to, you guys see this movie? Blah, 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 blah. He goes, yeah, I played the bartender. The star of the movie beat the shit out of me. You guys see that? And then some kid in the back just goes, he should have killed you. So I was like, oh, and that guy walked past me, never even looked at me. He just, when he got off stage, he just had this flop sweat and just walked by me just going, wow. Wow. And then I went on stage, immediately bombing, and there was this group of kids in the corner, these white dudes, and they were just like, just ready for a fight. They were just super fucking hot. That whole, my dad used to beat the shit out of me vibe. Yeah. And everything I had learned up to that point was like, Bill, don't get into it with them. I heard him talking, and I was just, don't say anything, don't say anything. And then finally, it's this fucking thing when you're on stage as a comic. You think like this, and this is like some sort of like a fucking gun and bullets, but it isn't. It's just plastic shit. And I just like, I finally said, I go, hey, you know what? What's going on over there? What are you guys talking about? And blah, blah, blah. And I can't remember what to say. And this guy just finally just yelled out, he goes, anything, he just yells out, he goes, anything red and on stage is a faggot. Right? And it was the most childish heckle I ever got. This is back when, like, people didn't freak out about that word. You guys are like, oh, my God, what does that say about gay people? This was when straight people used it. It just meant you were an asshole. And so he said that. I just remembered, like, I didn't know what to do. It was just like, it was so fucking childish. But I also knew he was going to, like, beat the shit out of me. So I just went, like, right back into my state, like, my act. Like, that's almost like a cooties joke, you know? This right here, the reaction to that is why you can never leave the comedy clubs, by the way. Like, because that used to be a funny story, but now because of, like, that now gay people said what that word makes us feel like, now everybody, even if you say it and you say that somebody else said it to you, it becomes this weird thing of, like, well, does he advocate what he said? It just becomes all of that and becomes, like, context and all of that shit. So, well, that's what he said.